Realities in the world today have pushed us online. There are many people that have embraced digital to do business, but there are those that are doing it right and those that are not doing it the right way. Let's find out how you can actually make it in this area.
If I'm telling you briefly about Kweli.shop, it's a go-to online marketplace for genuine renewable energy products, household appliances, and electronics. And we started this platform to help other people that have needs that are similar to the needs that we had, and that is pure counterfeit-free shopping. So there are a couple of ways. I will talk about practically three. One is by listing your products in online marketplaces. Online marketplaces are like Kweli, like Amazon, and like Gigi, like a couple of others. So these platforms give you a chance to just register and put your products on there. Then, depending on the platform, some give you the option of delivering by yourself. Others would receive the orders. You pick the item from you, or you deliver the item to them, and then they deliver to the customer. So most online marketplaces handle the marketing and logistics on behalf of you as a business person, a seller, or a manufacturer. Online shopping, or having an online shopping business, has a lot more than just having a website or an app with products on it. There's a big function there called logistics. The order fulfillment, a very, very big part of it. There is go-to-market, being able to find the customers, it's a very, very big part of it. And then, of course, the normal operations of any business, the internal operations of running a business. You have HR and all that. You need to know who your customers are and what their needs are. The biggest advantage of online shopping or e-commerce is that it gives you access to a much wider market than any brick and mortar or physical retail business or wholesale business. Avoid selling counterfeits online. It doesn't help you, it doesn't help the industry, and it doesn't help your customers. The world's largest e-commerce platform is called Amazon. Their cost of getting one customer is $140. That's about 500,000 shillings for them to get one new person to make a purchase on Amazon. Now, if you are to spend 500,000 shillings to get one customer, or let's say, in our case, last year we spent just a fraction of that. We spent like 10% of that. We spent about $10 to get every new customer that we got in 2022. Now imagine every customer that came did not return. You would be losing a lot of money. So do not sell counterfeits, because when you sell counterfeits, customers won't return, and at the end of the day, your losses will be compounded. Number two, avoid anything that can cause you to have a high number of orders that are returned. Now, every order that is cancelled or returned or delivery failed after it was dispatched brings to the company a loss. And how does it do so? One is that you are going to spend in packaging the products that the customers ordered. You are going to spend in trying to deliver the items. You may give a logistics company that does it for you, or you may give your own team and then you burn fuel. And then, if the item is not delivered and you bring it back, it may be damaged along the way. Yeah? And then you will not be able to sell it again. So at the end of the day, your losses have been compounded. There are things that you've got to look out for. You know, out there, most people talk about fraudulent sellers, but there are lots of fraudulent customers as well. So, number one, avoid fulfilling orders before qualifying customers. There are people that go on randomly placing orders, and then when you try to deliver to them, you may not even find them. The other fraud scenario that you have to look at is from the supply chain itself. So if you are operating an online business, remember you're not manufacturing everything, you're getting supplies. So make sure you're getting supplies from the right places. If we talk about gender, women do a lot of shopping online than men. If we talk about age, the youth between ages of 23 and ages of 40 do a lot more online shopping than any other age group. If we are to talk about income, the upper middle class does more online shopping than anyone else. But of course, because e-commerce is very broad, we provide customers with a wider variety of products. So now we have the lower middle class being able to also afford many products, or at least some products, and they are doing shopping online. The biggest challenges are basically two. Number one is mindset. So many people think that e-commerce doesn't work, online shopping is not a thing of here, that Ugandans cannot do for you something that is right or legitimate, you know, those kind of cases. So the mindset issue is very, very strong limitation and challenge to us as e-commerce players. The other, of course, is bad experience. People have had bad experiences with online shopping, and they've gone ahead to tell their friends, you know, that I ordered for a pair of shoes, they didn't fit, and I couldn't return them. So they tell someone else, and that person thinks every other online platform might treat them exactly the same.
A number of times, what holds us back from achieving what we are supposed to achieve, full potential, if you like, is failure to make some of those very critical decisions. Or sometimes, even when we make those decisions, they may not be the right decisions. So as we start 2023, what are some of the elements that you have to bear in mind as you make a business decision?
If you want to make good business decisions in 2023, I think the first thing that a business owner should do is to go back to 2022 and review your performance for 2022. How did your business perform generally? Yeah? If you have good systems and have financial reports, they can help you to understand the performance of 2022, and based on that, you can now plan for 2023. So review 2022. What are the products or services that did very well in 2022 so that you want to carry them forward in 2023. So a lot of things that you have to consider in 2023 is focusing your resources on things that are needful for the growth of the business, your needs as a business, not more of your wants, because still resources are a bit scarce. Even though we are coming out of the COVID effects and everything like that, the Ebola and all that, resources are still scarce. So we still have to be very careful how we use that resources. Some of the things that we have to consider as businesses, especially if you're in a service business, can you consider remote working instead of having big office spaces that you're hiring, yet people can actually do remote working? Because now when you do remote working, it helps to reduce on transport costs for your workers. It reduces the rental space that you will have for your workers, but also it reduces on the meals and all those essentials that your workers need when they are in an office. But if you're a product business, then you have to have known how do your products perform. What is your turnover, your stock turnover for your product, so that you don't have too much stock that no one is buying. Because when you have too much stock and no one is buying, you're holding a lot of capital in your business in the name of stock. So even as a business, you can budget for your sales turnover, the level of sale you want to grow into. So which means if last year a certain level of sales is what you realize, what percentage do you want to apply? You want to grow by 10%, by 20%, but you'll not know what level of growth to go into 2023 if you don't know how you performed in 2022. But also for that increased level of sales, what is the cost that you're going to incur to bring that level of sales? So you have to factor, is it marketing that you need to put more? Is it some more employees that you need to have in place? What are the things that will take you to that level of performance that you want to go to? So when you have a budget, it helps you to plan for the sales, the level of revenue you want to bring in, the cost of bringing that revenue, but also your general overhead of running your business, okay? So once you do that, then at the end of drawing the budget, do you actually have a surplus budget or do you have a deficit budget? Because you could plan for a level of revenue. When you put in the cost, then you realize actually you're planning for a loss. So starting the year 2023, draw a budget and make sure that that budget can be supported by the expenditures that you're planning for.
Value addition is key for making a business case, especially for those that sit within the agriculture sector. But even beyond that, any commodity sold in raw form will lose an entrepreneur or a business person money. So let's find out some of the machines that you need in most of the activities, especially in the agriculture subsector, and others to add value and earn more.
What I think about the food food and beverage industry in Uganda is that as much as we've come a long way, there are a few things we can still work on. Because I feel like at the moment, most people are still using rudimentary means, which in turn decreases the quality of production. And then the other thing that would also be affected with the current means that we're using in our country, Uganda, is the cost of production. I would urge our fellow Ugandans in the food and beverage industry to embrace the new technology, which will in turn increase value addition to their products, increase output, and which will also give them a vision of probably even exporting outside Uganda. So this is the oven where the production starts. These are called preforms. This is where they are heated from, and then this next part is where the bottles are actually blown from. And from this, you get to choose the mold, which decides the shape and size of the bottle that you would like to produce. So after you are done with producing your bottles or manufacturing the bottles, we come to the filling line. We start from a very small size, and this is a 3-in-1, which includes the rinsing of the bottles. It fills the bottle with whatever beverage you're trying to make. And then lastly, it also caps the bottles. And the same would also apply to this other size of machinery, which is also a filling machine, except it's more advanced with technology, and it also has a higher rate of production. It is also a 3-in-1. With the rinsing over here, the filling over here, and then lastly the capping of the bottles. Next in our production line, we have the labeling machine, because as we know, the label actually sells your product. So with this machine, you get to label bottles as they come through the filling machine. This is the next step after filling your beverages into the bottle. So we have one that actually does a round bottle shape, and then this one that does a half bottle shape. So when it comes to this machinery, this is actually also a filling line, but it's way, way big. And this machine actually produces up to 10,000 bottles an hour. This is for people that are interested in expansion and increasing output in their productivity. So taking you back to the first step, which was the bottle production, this is also a blowing machine, and this one is actually fully automated. With this machine, this is the smallest size, but it produces up to 2,000 bottles an hour. Not forgetting, my people that are also in the water production industry, if you are thinking of starting water purification process or a process of making clean, pure water for sale, this is a water treatment plant. And with this water treatment plant, it treats up to 500 mils an hour. So for the very last part of production, we have the cartoning machine. And for anyone that is already in the food and beverage industry, you already know what this is. So this is a shrink wrapping machine. With this machine, you get to package over 200 bags an hour, which actually increases your production rate compared to when you actually do it by hand. So this in the future actually helps you save more money on labor and also time, because it's time efficient. When it comes to the question of mobilizing resources to get funds to purchase some of these modern machineries, I would encourage the government to support the people who are also currently in the business in any way that they can. Because if they do support them and these industries are actually prospering, in turn, the government actually gets revenue from most of these productions from the taxes.
Thank you for being part of the show. We treasure your participation and your audience. I've been your host, Charles Boji. Until next time, have a good evening. But don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, but then also keeping the discussion going on all our digital platforms, because like we always say, business is a going concern.